Hello, today we're going to look at writing converse, inverse, and contrapositive statements. This next learning objectives for the next video. First, we're going to look at what a conditional statement is. A conditional statement has an if, and then something after the if, and then it has a then, and something after the then. Uh, Everything after the if we call a hypothesis, and after the then we call it a conclusion. So if we take a look at this, the hypothesis is the if part, and it has to happen in order for us to even consider the statement to be true. The then part is of the conditional statement. The conclusion is a statement that the whole statement is true if the conclusion always happens when the hypothesis is true. So once this happens, then we can assess whether that's true. Now, in the logic, we write things often in shorthand, if P then Q. So P represents all of the words of the hypothesis, and Q will represent all of the words of the conclusion. And it can be symbolized as, if you see P arrow Q, it means if P then Q. All right. Now, there are different ways we can manipulate a sentence. If we say if P then Q, we could also say if Q then P. Or if we can negate the P, if not P then not Q. Or we can do both of these combined to get a contrapositive, which is if not Q then not P. And this is the symbols for each of them. Now it probably sounds like a bunch of garbage right now. So let's show you an example and see if this makes sense. So if Mr. Heeb works at Chippewa, then he is a teacher. That's a conditional statement. If I work at Chippewa, then I have to be a teacher. We're not going to assess whether it's true or false. Let's just manipulate this. So to turn it into a converse, we just have to flip the orders of these. So the Q comes over here. So if Mr. Heeb is a teacher, then he works at Chippewa. And the inverse, it's if not P, so it's taking this statement, if I don't work at Chippewa, then he isn't a teacher. And contrapositive puts these two together, so it flips them and negates them. So if Mr. Heeb isn't a teacher, then he doesn't work at Chippewa. This is one example. Let's see if you can move forward and see if you can do a couple of these on your own.